Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome back to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and today we're bringing you a battle report once again from the bridge of Tier 8 French cruiser Charles Martel. I have been regrinding the French cruiser line of late, and I have been recently reminded quite a bit grinding through this particular ship just how good a ship Martel is at Tier 8. There are a lot of really good Tier 8 cruisers, and man, Martel, she just hits a really nice sweet spot in terms of matchmaking AA power, consumable power, speed, her main battery, and the torpedoes, okay, fine, you don't get a lot out of the torpedoes, but beyond that, there's lots of things about this ship that I really, really like. This is my very last game regrinding this ship before I unlocked Tier 9's Saint Louis, and it is very, very interesting. Let's just leave it at that. Spawning here on the south side of Two Brothers, and this is a standard battle, everybody's favorite. So my initial positioning, my initial thought is, alright, there's a carrier in the game. It's a Vesser, or Visor, however the hell you say it. So I'm not overly concerned, right? My AA power is certainly well enough to do bad things to a Tier 6 carrier who wants to harass me. My early focus is I want to trying close-ish to this gate, give him some air cover, but my plan is to swing wide over to kind of the 9-10 line, get angled out, and kind of set up to receive a push a bit from these battleships and cruisers that are likely to be coming our way. You see already a Mogami and a Malfi. We have eyes on the Gneiss now. I can actually be shooting at the Gneiss, but I have elected not to in the interest of just trying to get to the position that I want to achieve. This Visor, to his credit, is busy trying to, get rockets over here and just be a general jerk. I have presented him with a good target here, but I put my my fighter plane up, my catapult fighter, and he declines. He says, nah, don't think I'm going to do that. I do draw a bead on this Mogami and take a shot here, get some early damage in. Kind of wishing I had the AP loaded for that first salvo. Didn't have it, so I reloaded here for the second. Did put some AP downrange, and I do get a solid hit here. I think it's about 6k or so. Some full pens. Yeah, there we go, 6,500. Some full pens there. No citadels, unfortunately, but, early going. Mogami, we've taken 12,000 HP off of that guy. I'll take it. Now, I don't realize the Amalfi is right there with him until the shells are already coming in. They clip my rudder, and I have to go ahead and blow my repair there to keep moving, keep my plan underway. My cunning plan is to stay over here and have some maneuverability underway. Do get angled out. I'm finally kind of in the position that I want, with somebody up here, and I take some good solid full pins through the bow there. Mogami comes in with some more chip shells. Somebody is spotting me, and I suspect. Nope, that Fubu's out of range. So once I stop firing, those guys are set up shop behind that island, but at the moment, they can't see me. Now, we have a suicidal Nuremberg pushing down the 8 line. I don't know why he thinks this is a great idea, but, well, there you have it. My focus remains on the Mogami. I can, got eyes on him, try and put some shells downrange, but one of the things about these French heavy cruiser shells, as good as they are, over longer distances, at the extreme edges of their range, they lose a lot of velocity. It can become very challenging to lead targets correctly at extreme range. At least I find it that way with Algerie and Martel and Saint Louis. I haven't played Henri Quatrième in so long, I don't remember what the performance on those 240mm shells is like. Maybe when I get to the top of the line again and unlock it, I'll play some games and do another replay and we'll have a chat. But for the moment, I just can't recall. This side of the board really hasn't developed kind of like I expected it to. The battleships are still lagging back there. You see a California, a Gneisenau, and a Bayern. This Nuremberg is, obligatory exploding Nuremberg. Not really surprising. He took a very, very aggressive position early. Unfortunately for our Gneisenau, he also took a very aggressive position early and has been point blank with a Fubuki, who's been steadily feeding him a diet of freshly scrubbed torpedoes, and he will be dead momentarily. You see him there flooding over there on the 8 line, and he'll be out soon. That salvo probably a mistake. I probably should have taken a pot shot at the Fubuki, but I did not. I didn't realize he was spotted until probably the last second there. You see the North Carolina shooting at him. That's the right play. In fact, this North Carolina has a pretty solid game for a while. But if you look at the minimap, you can see things are starting to get a little slim on this flank, right? We've lost the Gneisenau. And it was only ever really just the 4 of us to begin with. The entire rest of the team has gone over to the 2-3 line with the exception of our Flint. Check it out. Our Flint is camped in the bottom end of their cap circle because, of course, that's what you do on Two Brothers, right? You charge up the middle right into the enemy cap. Now, at this exact moment in the match, 6 minutes in, this doesn't seem all that relevant because, of course, I'm sure you see there the Amalfi reacting. He's going to go back over there. I'm sure the enemy carrier will be throwing planes at him or trying to anyway. But remember this moment because I promise you it will come into play later on. Now, I played a little ring around the island here. North Carolina looks like he's about to be joining me. We're all kind of playing back because we're outnumbered at least 2-1 on this flank. You see there's 6 enemy ships up there. Fubuki, Amalfi, Mogami, Gneisenau, Bayern, and California. Now, several of those ships, 4 of them, in fact, are headed back to deal with our buddy the Flint we were just discussing. So that, for the moment, that just leaves the Fubuki and the California. At least the ones that are still moving this way. Everybody else, of course, will still have shots down this side of the map if they want them. Now, the Gade does something here that I disagree with, and maybe his Hydro is down. But this was a really golden opportunity for him to pop his Hydro and push up into the face of that Fubuki and wipe him out. And he doesn't take it. Like I said, his Hydro may have been down, I don't know. But really frustrating to see that here because it would have been an easy way to kill the Fubuki. We've been talking in guild chat over the last week or so with Kraken. I've recently moved around the German destroyer line. Some other guys are going through it. We've basically recently decided that Gade is probably the weakest ship in the line. Probably one of the worst ships in the game, if we're honest, given the matchmaking that she has and the various attributes that she has, torpedo power and gun power and that sort of thing. I'm really picking on this California because I know how soft he is. I know how much damage I'll do to him, especially getting all these fires to stick. But I can't really hold this line. I got an island in front of me. I start to turn to port, and that's when I realize, well, crap. There's a Bayern up here. He knew I was here, and yeah, he says hello. So, only 8 minutes into this game, I am now down literally 80% of my health because bad positioning, bad choices, and yeah. Enemy carrier thinks he's going to come in and take a piece, but I put up my defensive fire, focus up my AA, and, well, those little tier 6 German planes, they melt pretty good under the right set of circumstances, and yeah, none of those survive to drop. I do take another full pen from the Bayern kind of through my stern deck there as I pop my speed boost and run back south. I want to be able to help the Gade get against the Fubuki, but of course, before that can happen, he stumbles into Japanese torpedoes, and now, down 2 ships as a team, it's just me and this North Carolina to hold back the flood tide on this entire half of the map. See there in chat, I am less than amused with this turn of events. Okay, so, me and the North Carolina. Now, we see the Mogami pushing south. If you look at the minimap, of course, our friendly Flint in the cap circle is dead, as you would expect. I'm expecting the Amalfi to come down the channel. I'm not sure what the Gneiss is doing, but I'm expecting, at a minimum, this Mogami and this Bayern to push south down the 7 line. The California, over there on the 10 line, was getting flipped around. It's going to be a few minutes before he's relevant again. And the Fubuki, well, who knows where that guy is. I'm not paying attention to my driving, so I end up T-boning the friendly North Carolina. As now I decide, all right, well, I'm going to have to use this island, this convenient island back here, kind of, what is this? It's about I-8, H8, something right here off my port bow. I'm going to have to start using this island as best I can to try and engineer favorable engagements. Hopefully one-on-one, hopefully 2-on-1 with this North Carolina still in the game. I swapped to the AP and swapped to my reload booster here because I'm expecting this Mogami to have to make some positional choices he doesn't want to make. Sure enough, he turns to port, and I time that salvo well. I get some more full pins, but this is the one that really comes in nice as we slam at least one Citadel in, and the North Carolina finishes that conversation. So we've at least made up a little ground on this flank. Now, unfortunately, the North Carolina's taken some fires, some more damage. The enemy carrier's bringing some torpedo planes in. They might be weak German torpedoes, but they'll still do damage, right? And unfortunately, we've split up, so we're not really able to lend a lot of mutual AA support here. I'm able to chip some of these planes away while they get looped around, presumably trying to go back in on him, but not as much support as we would wish. And the Amalfi, you see there, working the top end of the 7 line, he finishes off the North Carolina. Now, I was expecting him to come down the channel. He didn't right there, but game's not over yet. 11 minutes in, 9 minutes to play. We're tied up on kills, at least. They're pretty even on health. But, of course, we actually have a points advantage because of how long that friendly Flint sat in the enemy cap circle. So now, it's just me. Me and my 4,500 HP are the last poor schlobs on this side of the map playing defense. And the Fubuki, you can see there I'm lit on the surface, and I'm clicking on the map because the Fubuki has followed me. You can see he's pushed down the 9 line. He's over there somewhere, probably in about I-9, working astern of me, keeping me lit for his battleship buddies off to the north. Now, I can handily outrun the California. That guy I'm not super concerned about, but the Bayern is closing in on me. And I'm kind of running out of space to room. I'm already in the back of the map, right? I can't run any farther south. A friendly Cleveland, you see they're working in the cap circle, has at least come back to provide a little bit of support. And with the Bayern's guns looking at him, and I've been trying to get the carrier's attention, like, hey, dude, turn your engines on. You need to move. You're gonna get bum rushed by somebody. I turn around and decide, all right, well, now I'm finally, said I wanted to try and engineer a 2-on-1 engagement. I'm finally there. The Bayern trying to shoot at the Cleveland, but if I present him another target, it's going to be all kinds of unpleasant choices for him. So I turn around, I head back north a bit, get the Bayern into my range, and start trying to help with this guy. The California, for the moment, has no shots on me with this island, or at least it wouldn't be a great shot anyway. He can't really see me. He'd be guessing as to where to lead the shells. I put up the speed boost, and I'm charging what I assume is the position of the Fubuki. Now remember, he obviously outspots me, but I know he's over here. So here's my thought process at the moment. 1, I'm closing on him very quickly. That's going to cut down his options. 2, I have to stay frosty for his torpedoes. I'm sure they'll be coming soon enough. And 3, this Bayern is his spotter. If I can kill the Bayern, the Fubuki will no longer know where I am. And right there, the friendly Leon, does us a solid. We are able to get the Bayern off the board for a ship lead. And now I'm right here in the face of this Fubuki who has smoked and decided to sit still. Now, I don't have Hydro, but this is suboptimal play for him. He doesn't really have a lot of choice, right? The beauty of these French cruisers with this speed boost means that I can run destroyers to ground like when they pull shenanigans like this. And they basically can't get away because I'm faster than they are, most of them anyway. And sure enough, right here as I get towards the end of his smoke, there he is. I spot him at 2 kilometers and end his day. We now have a 2-ship lead. Most of our team has retreated back into the cap circle to play defense against standard battle, as it should be. We have a solid lead at the moment. Things are looking good with 6 minutes to play. California, his guns are looking towards the middle of the board, towards where all those other ships are, so I'm got it. Man, this is free damage. I'm literally going to sit here. I pop reload booster, you see there. I'm just going to farm this guy for free damage because he can't do anything about it without turning his ship, doing something, right? Like he's looking the wrong direction. So it's an easy choice to take some free damage here. That last salvo wasn't very good. I kind of overlet it there as he's turning his bow towards me. And now the California is presented with a bunch of really garbage decisions, right? If he turns to me and pursues me around the island, he's not able to back up his Amalfi buddy in the cap. So he turns far enough to get his bow turrets on me, gives me a salvo. I take a little chip damage, you see there, down to 3,000 HP. But then he decides, no, I'm going to turn back to starboard, and he does, to stay on the north side of that island so that he can keep his guns working the cap. The enemy carrier bringing back the AP bombs. But again, I still have at least 2 charges of defensive fire. I put one up here. I do not want to deal with these. A Citadel now will take me out of the game. A bomb overpin doesn't bother me, but I cannot afford the risk. I want these planes out of my sky. A's plugging away. I'm trying to kind of give him a little bit of options by flipping the rudder around, not giving him any idea of where I'm going to be. And sure enough, we finally cleaned his planes out. While that's all going on, though, the team suffers 2 quick casualties. We lose the Cleveland, and we lose our carrier. You see, the Ranger did turn his engines on, but he sailed straight into the middle of the board, where he stumbled into the Amalfi, who had turned around and come back down the channel. So now, things are starting to get pretty slim. This California up here in front of me, of course, I have cover. He doesn't know where I am, but I've got cover from him, and the Leon is my spotter. So, you see the California doesn't seem to really know what to do, trying to figure it out. He's jerking his rudder around as he's going against the Leon. Now these rocket planes pick me up. Now he's going to flip his rudder back and try to figure out if he wants to come around here and maybe try and kill me instead. See there, he's turning back to port. Me, I'm just going to put my port torpedoes into the water, give him something else to think about while he deals with his engagement with the Leon. Get my guns flipped over so I can help if I do end up with a shot as he comes around this island. Right now, I'm just trying to keep these rockets off my back. But did you notice how quickly those rocket planes were on top of me? In fact, look now. Look how quickly those torpedo planes are back in the action. By now, I've figured out the enemy carrier is on about the 7 line in about E7 or F7. Right up there around the corner, snuggled up next to that island, where you see those rocket planes on the minimap. He's right up here. He's probably already in my gun range. I simply can't spot him. Unfortunately, I'm out of speed boost. This would have been a perfect time for one. Bummer. But I'm pushing back up the 9 line. There he is. Look who I found all by his lonesome. Pop a reload booster. Need to try and chunk this guy down just as quickly as possible. I'm trying to help the Leon in his engagement with the California. He does finish off the California, but takes a big hit there on his way out the door. And so now, literally, as a team, the Leon and I have about 8,000 HP against this carrier in front of me and a low-health enemy Z-23, who's on the other side of the board. You see him there on the minimap now, closing in on our cap circle on the 4 line. I swap over to the AP here. This is probably a mistake. I probably should have stuck with the HE because you're going to see over the next couple of salvos, I get mostly overpins because of how Vesser's hull is built, right? The flight deck is like this open box extension sitting on top of a hipper hull, and I'm getting a lot of overpins through that. I probably should have tried for full pins with the HE instead. I do land 1 Citadel right at the very end, so it's kind of some justification for the tactic, but oh well. I can't take one of these torpedoes. I do manage to thread the needle. A single one of those probably would have taken me out of the game. And now here we are with under 2 minutes to play, mano a mano. Me and my 3,000 HP are all that remain of my friendly team against an enemy Z-23 on about 6,000 HP, and he is in our cap circle. But remember, way back 10 minutes ago, when that Flint sat in their cap circle and sucked away all those points, right now, that is the difference in this game. We have a 40-point lead that is slowly eroding, but he will never get a full cap off. For a single ship to full cap at a standard battle takes like 3 minutes or 2 minutes, something like this. He doesn't have time, okay? In fact, at this point, I actually risk my ship here. I charge the cap circle thinking that I can kill this guy. This is actually a mistake. If either one of us had played this encounter smarter, I wouldn't have done this, right? He needed to kill me to win because he can't cap and they won't score enough points in 45 seconds to win the game. Whereas me charging the cap circle like this, I'm risking my ship. On 3,000 HP, a Z-23 is actually a threat to me. A couple or 3 salvos, he could potentially wipe me out. At the same time, I still have a reload booster left. If I can spot him, if he decides to get in a gunfight with me, I'm actually a threat to him as well. A couple of quick reloads, I might be able to take him off the board. I smell torpedoes in the water. I suspect that he's fired these. I start playing rudder games, and yep, there they are. Not surprising. Time ticking away, under 10 seconds. He finally decides to open fire. I do pop the reload booster. I do start to get shells on him, but it is simply too little, too late, and we manage to eke out a win by 16 points. So, one of the reasons that I like this game is, I took, 8 minutes in, I was largely dead. I had only 4,000, I had spent a huge chunk of this game on 4,000 HP. But it goes to show that as a low-health cruiser, you can continue to have big impact on a match by, you saw me there, I was drawing resources away from the enemy carrier, like he was trying to kill me. I was able to look for angles, use cover to look for places I could get free damage. All manner of things that you can still be doing, even though you're on the verge of death in a cruiser, and still have a big impact on a game. Even if nothing else, the longer you keep your points on the board and don't give those points away to the enemy team, just gives your team more of an opportunity to find a way to engineer a win. Anyway, guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed that battle report. Wash your hands, be safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.